This is step-by-step gun training, and we are going to clean a Glock 48. Now, you normally carry your gun loaded, so I'm simulating that by putting a gun with dummy rounds in the holster. So you're going to see me, I'm going to come in, I'm going to pick the gun up, I'm going to flip it around, push the mag release, which that's a one finger job, and then the magazine will pop out, and then I'm going to take the magazine, I'm going to put it in a linen closet, so that ammo is nowhere near the gun. This is before I actually draw the gun out of the holster. Now, when I'm drawing the gun out of the holster, I'm standing in front of my toilet bowl, and the gun, the muzzle, is aimed down at an angle toward the water in the bowl. That way, if the gun was to go bang, it would, of course, destroy the toilet, but I wouldn't get hurt, and no one else would get hurt. I'd have to turn the little water valve off, and I'd have to hire a plumber to fix the toilet, and it'd be expensive, so it's something I really don't want to do, but safety is paramount. So now I'm taking the gun out of the holster. Of course, that would have been on my body. And now I'm going to rack the slide 3 times. So the first round is going to come out, and no more rounds are going to come out. Glock recommends you rack it 3 times, because if ammo keeps coming out, then you know you didn't take the magazine out yet. Now I'm going to lock the slide open, so I have to pull it back and push up on the slide stop lever. And then I'm going to check, there's no magazine visually and tactilely, that's with my touching. And the same thing with the chamber, I'm checking that there's no round in there. So now I know the gun's empty. I still treat it like a loaded gun, so when I go ahead and have to press the trigger, I'm still going to point it at that toilet bowl. So I have to press the trigger in order to take the gun apart. And I pinch it, see, I wrap my fingers around, my thumb on the back and the tang area, and my fingers on the knurled area on the top there. And then I have to pull these 2 little levers down on either side at the same time. There's one just like it on the other side. I'll show you that in more detail later. And I slide the slide forward, and it comes right off. Now I'm going to take out the recoil spring and the barrel. So I've got the gun disassembled into its 4 main parts: the frame, the barrel, the slide, and the recoil spring. And I have a nylon brush here. It's much softer than the steel, so it's not going to scratch the steel. And it's actually softer than the plastic, so it's also not going to scratch up the plastic. And just brush it off wherever you see carbon buildup. Doing the same thing to the barrel. And then the frame. Go down inside it, and it's just kind of like a toothbrush. You could use a toothbrush for this, but don't use your toothbrush because it's going to be nasty. You can get these brushes like the one I have here at Amazon.com. They come in a huge pack, so you can share them with your friends. They're not very expensive. Now we're going to do the bore snake. So the bore snake we do in the barrel. And of course, look at the bore snake. It has a weight on the end and a string, and it's long enough. If you had a full-size rifle that was 9mm, you could use it to clean that as well. And then here are the bristles. These bristles are a brass material, so they're much softer than the steel, so they're not going to scratch up your barrel. And then there's a long fiber woven material here that cleans the barrel very nicely. So we're just going to drop that weight down through the back of the barrel into the chamber, and then let it drop through the front. And we're just going to pull it the rest of the way through. Once is probably enough, but here, I'll go ahead and do it twice. So you see it again. And notice we're doing this with the barrel out of the gun. It's much safer to do it that way than to do it with the barrel in the gun. I'll get rid of the bore snake, get out of the way. Now it's time to lube the gun and put it back together. So here's the slide, and this is my oil. It's just motor oil. It's Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil, and I'm going to put a drop all the way down and a drop all the way down. I got that bottle from Amazon too. You can get a whole bunch of them, and again, share them with your friends if you want to. And then that's in the locking mechanism. There's the hood of the slide. I put a drop there, and then on the front of the barrel, I'm going to put a a drop all the way around and kind of spread it around the barrel. And then there's the frame. So back in the back here, this is the connector, and it's right underneath that piece that kind of hooks under there, and they rub together. So I put some there, and I put a little bit on the drop safety as well. I carefully put the barrel back in, and then the spring. You want to make sure that spring is really square, and then it'll go back nicely. And you pull it back, let it go, and then you're going to do a function test on everything. But let's see what would happen if we didn't do it right. So I'm going to go ahead and purposely push this spring way out of battery here. So it's way off, and this is how it is. Sometimes people bump that as they're putting the slide on, and then here's what happens. Now on this one, you're not going to see the plunger sticking out the front, but the thing is you can't lock the slide open. So that's how you know you got a problem. So I'm really going to have to strain here a little bit to pull this back and then be able to pull that plunger. And I pull it out and let it snap back into place, and then the slide will work properly. I can lock it open now, so I know I've fixed it. And we'll go ahead and take a look at it again and show you. See, it's got to be square and all the way down in that slot down there. There you go. That's the recoil spring. We'll go ahead and put the slide back on again. Oh, here's the gate for the slide lock that I was telling you about. Unlocks the slide so you can take the slide off of the gun, and you pull those two levers down. But to put it back on, you don't have to pull the levers down, you just slide it back on. And now I'm going to go ahead and do my function tests, and I would do those again pointing at the toilet bowl. So every time I'm pressing that trigger, it's only pointed in a direction that no human is going to get hurt or nothing of extreme value is going to get damaged. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe off any excess oil, but I do have a little bit on the metal to help protect it. Go ahead and now you would of course put your magazine back in, charge your firearm, and carefully put it back into the holster. Of course, my holster would still be on my body at this point. And there you go. You got a clean Glock 48.